From a secret underground bunker somewhere in the Arizona desert, 40 feet below the Earth's surface, two men, aided by their robotic artificial intelligence, Jennifer,
Jennifer, at your service.
hide from their wives and kids to discuss man stuff with interesting and unusual people. These men are the Bunker Boys.
We are the Bunker Boys.
Yes, we are.
Welcome back to episode, what is this, 13 now, I think.
No, we just did 14, didn't we?
We recorded one ahead of time. So this is going to be, oh no, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm totally
So
confused.
this will be fitting.
Fitting. That's right. Well, thanks for listening. This is kind of a special show today because I have my brother here on the show.
It's very special.
It is special.
And of course, Garth, the usual suspect here. But we've got some fun stuff to discuss today, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you'll stick around. If you don't, hey, you'll have to hear about it in the news.
Yeah.
But lots of interesting stories this time around. Anything going on with you, Garth, this week?
Not a thing. Well, we kind of went back to work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're
Hate
seasonal.
when that happens.
Yeah, I'm seasonal.
Yeah. Yeah, and Brian is would you call yourself a long-distance truck driver?
Over the road, line haul.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, over the road. Long distance,
Well,
sort of.
where else do you drive? Under the
Short,
road?
long distance.
Short, long.
Or is it long, short distance? But that's good. But he's visiting from Ohio, so that's kind of cool. I don't think I've seen you.
Ohio is very cool. In fact, they have snow.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful out here.
We had snow here, too.
Yeah, but it's still nice and warm and pretty and sunny and blue skies.
Yeah, it is. It is the difference there. Well, we've got a lot of good stories to cover here, and Brian, you probably haven't listened to a whole show yet, but we've got we cover the gamut here. We talk about everything, anything that's on your mind. So, since you've been here, what's been the most picturesque thing you've seen?
I would say Sedona.
Yeah,
Driving up into Sedona is just absolutely gorgeous.
you like the Red Rock?
The Red Rock.
And
We went for a walk and seen Castle Rock and I don't know the names of the other
Coffee
ones.
Pot Rock. And
Yes.
it's good.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, I'm trying to find your mic switch here because I think you're just a little bit quiet. That might be my mic.
That's really hard to believe. I've never been told that before.
I know. It'll never happen again, I assure you. But we appreciate you jumping in on the show. A lot of fun stuff in the news. This one I got a big kick out of. The National Anti-Narcotics Trafficking Unit in Portugal was watching when this guy got off the plane. They watched for guys smuggling drugs and various things. And this guy, they kind of watched him because he looked a little odd. His butt was unusually large. So they decided to kind of keep an eye on him, see if it was real. And it looked a little stiff when he walked. So they actually searched him, and they found out his buttocks was not real, and it was full of cocaine.
Wow.
It was a false bottom, if you will.
What's up your arse, huh?
Well, that they found out. 2.2 pounds of cocaine.
You sure it wasn't in Brazil?
It said Portugal.
Oh, they have Brazilian butt jobs now,
That's true, they do.
Right next to the Brazilian wax job.
Exactly.
Well, they just thought it just was too big for normalcy. For Valentine's Day, workers at a Bangor, Maine daycare center the center was called Watch Me Shine. It allowed parents to bring in cookies and cakes and stuff for the kids and staff. And the director there, Tiffany Nowicki, said within 15 minutes, teachers were reporting they had concerns about what was in the cookies because they started feeling a little different. And when they had it checked out, they actually called the police. They thought they were getting high.
Whoa.
And when they checked it, sure enough, somebody had baked some marijuana in the
Put
cookies.
some herb in there, huh?
They did. And people were kind of floating around the room at a daycare center. Well, consequently, there's been a new policy, no more baked goods. It's a shame.
Homemade
People run
baked goods anyways.
Right. Yeah. A lot of schools will let you bring stuff in, but you have to it's got to be
Is that a
store-bought.
school or daycare?
Well, this is a daycare, but schools have similar policies.
You mean somebody brought marijuana cookies into a daycare and going to let the children eat those?
Isn't that stupid? Yeah.
I thought it was going to be moonshine, and I didn't have much of a problem with that, but marijuana's crossing the line.
Yeah. Moonshine. Get out of here.
What'd you say? Was it Shine Day or Let
Yeah,
Me Shine?
no, watch me shine.
Shine day.
Ay, ay, ay. 12 staff members affected, they said. They called the police that tested them positive for drugs. She says, if they found something that shouldn't be in those cookies, that's a big problem. We'll make sure it's addressed. Well, I mean, I hope they know who brought what in.
So if the girls didn't get fired, do you think it would have been an inside job?
I don't know, maybe.
Hey, if someone brings in cookies and it's not our fault, we could eat a bunch of them.
Yeah, who
Or
knows
brownies.
why they do what
Yeah,
they do.
you never know.
Now, here's kind of a local Arizona story. Michelle Myers of Buckeye suffers from a very unusual disease. She gets blinding headaches, which are very horrible, but it happens. And you ever have a migraine?
Mm-mm.
Man, is it horrible. I get them from eye strain once in a while, and it can be so debilitating. You just want to stay in bed all day. It hasn't happened to me in a long time. But
I do that all the time.
What?
Stay in bed all
No, you don't. You wished you could. Well, these blinding headaches do something a little different, though. After her headache goes away, she discovers that she speaks in a foreign accent.
Oh, bloody way.
Yeah, and it can be a different accent. She's never traveled out of the country, but she gets these accents that come
It could
and
be
go.
a different accent every time.
Yeah. She said she's had it happen 3 times in the last 7 years and experienced a different accent, and she's never been out of the U.S. The first experience she had was with an Irish accent. The second one was Australian.
Okay.
And each time it only lasted a week. But the last time it happened, which was 2 years ago, she got a British accent, and it hasn't left her yet. And it's made her very upset.
No bloody way.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
She said she wishes to this day that she had her own voice back. Doctors say that it's neurological, and it's very rare, but it can happen after something like a stroke. But I actually have heard of this before.
Mm-hmm. So have I.
And some people never lose it. They always have it. Foreign accent syndrome is what it's called. And when she asked what her feelings were about this situation, she said, I feel sad. I feel like a different person. Everybody only sees and hears Mary Poppins when she talks.
A spoonful of sugar.
It helps the medicine go down. Doesn't change your voice, though.
Was that Mary? That was Mary
Yeah,
Poppins, wasn't
it
it?
sure was. I actually never saw the whole show. I've seen bits and pieces, but
It
never
gave
the
me
whole thing.
diabetes.
Did it? Mm-hmm. Too much sugar?
Too much
Spoonful of sugar. Mm-hmm. You haven't seen the whole movie, Mary Poppins?
Right. I am not.
Well, that movie was made. You weren't even born, I don't think.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Around the time I was born, I think.
Probably.
And I did see Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which, interestingly enough, did you know the guy that wrote James Bond wrote Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
No.
Well, look at the flying car and everything.
Yeah.
See,
Well, makes sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess so.
his mind was in the same zone.
Except he was in a kid zone for that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. An internet cafe in China allows gamers to play online. Earlier this year, one gamer played for 20 straight hours. And then when he tried to get up to go to the bathroom, he realized he was paralyzed. Huh? Paramedics had to be called and try to get him up and moving. And he was being carried out on a stretcher. He was begging his friends to finish the game for him. He was
You
that
got a
dedicated.
lot of nerve.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof. Yeah. No nerves left. That can be permanent damage. I mean, if he didn't move in 20 hours, that's
How old
crazy.
was this nitwit?
He's probably a young punk, probably, teenager or just into his 20s. I think it said in the article, I just don't remember what it said. Oh, here's a good one.
Oh.
I love knuckleheads. People
You
that do
do?
stupid crap, and then I get to make fun of them. In Shanghai, China, 2 guys tried to break into a store by throwing bricks at a plate glass window. First guy threw his brick and it bounced off. And then he bent down to pick it up. And while he was doing that,
The other guy threw his.
The other guy
his
threw his.
brick hit him in the head.
exactly.
Did it really?
Yeah. It knocked him out. And then the surveillance video of the whole event.
Oh, God.
The cops watched that and they just laughed their butts
I
off.
bet.
And the surveillance video shows the first suspect dragging the second one away from the scene. And the police said if all criminals were like this, we could just take the day off.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, craziness. What's the craziest thing you've seen driving truck?
Oh
Besides
boy,
people-
you ought to have some good ones.
That's a loaded question.
I know you've seen a lot of dumb things.
You talk about stupid.
Well, wasn't there an old guy that the truck makes wide rights, and you have to make a wide right, and when you're trying to make the right, sometimes a car will squeeze between you and the curb on the right
sometimes
side.
on the sidewalk. I've had that happen in Cleveland.
They
Honest
go
to
up over
God.
the sidewalk
Oh, yeah.
just to get around
Cop
you.
sitting next to me. I'm on the air horn. I go a mile and a half down the road, and lo and behold, the young man is in the store that I pull into to deliver.
Oh, jeez.
I berated him, and who do you work for? I said, the name is right there on the side of that truck.
Why, he was going to report you?
Yes, he was. And I showed him my shirt, and I said, make sure you spell the name right.
Did he ever report?
I don't know.
Report you?
I reported myself to my boss.
Yeah. Well,
Said if
you
he calls, he's an idiot, and I don't care.
didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you ever have young ladies bearing their soul?
Oh, yeah.
Are you serious?
I had my preacher friend in the truck with me one time, and girl was in the back seat, and she pressed herself up against the back window.
Oh, my gosh.
You see that? John, he'll know who I'm talking about. He'll know exactly where it was, right there at Fulton Road and 241.
Look at those things.
No, that was her. She was the rear departure.
Butt cheeks.
That was
Oh, yeah,
put
she
up
was
against the glass?
Back window, yep. And it wasn't all the way pressed against the glass because I don't think she was that flexible.
She wasn't driving. was she?
No, she wasn't
Nimble,
a driver.
huh?
Oh, my gosh.
And the same guy, John, he was in front of me coming back from Dayton one time. And he was he was in front of me and his car was passing. And it was a dude.
Oh, my gosh.
And I looked down and seen it. It's like, so I get on the CBS. Hey, John. I said, check this next one out. He goes, why would you do that to me? I said, because I didn't want to be the only one to see it.
He was talking to Wilbur.
He was talking to Wilbur. I'm going to get Garth to tell you his story about one of his most embarrassing stories. It's great.
Oh, the shark story?
Yes. Honest to God.
Oh, cut it out.
Jennifer, it's a bit chilly in here.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, Jen,
Yes.
don't show any emotion or anything. Hey, did you say hello to my brother?
Well, hello there.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Oh, she's playing the sexy music, too. Honest to goodness. You know, it's always fun having computers work with you. But anyway, maybe we'll talk to Smitty later.
Better working with you than against you.
I suppose that's true. Recently, a Missouri State University student named Hayden was on Tinder, the dating app.
Tinder Hayden?
No. Tinder is the name of the app on your phone. And it's a dating app, and he saw his dream girl there. Now, this is one of those things where you swipe right if you like them, and you swipe left if you don't. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how it works because I've never seen it, but I know that that's the basics of it. And
He accidentally swiped the wrong way.
he swiped the wrong way. Did you hear the story?
No, I
Yeah.
just assumed.
Just
Yeah.
imagine, yeah.
He saw his dream girl swipe the wrong way, dumping her, of course, and eliminating her from his choices forever. Now, he knew that he read her profile. He knew a little bit about her. And he was distraught because she could have been the one. The one. Her name was Claudia, and he remembered on her profile that she had said something about something funny, and he remembered what that was. And so he thought, well, he knew where she went to school. She went to the university where he attended. And so he went through every Claudia in the university, and he emailed them. And he said, you know, basically what happened is I didn't mean to swipe left. I swiped left instead of right. And I really think we should get together.
Did she graduate as Claude? Did I just blow it?
No, she did not. I had to think about that for a second.
Yeah, your face kind of went, what?
Hang on, what are you talking about? But yeah, she, no, she was a real Claudia. Look, now I won't go into that. But so he writes all these girls, and a couple of them write him back, and finally one of them responded. He knew it was her because she had mentioned something in her profile that only he knew because she had something out there on it. And he asked, he recognized it, and he remembered a joke she'd posted. And he invited her out for donuts, and we don't know if it led to anything more permanent, but he tracked her down.
I'll be darned.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, he's a stalker.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, you wonder if she felt that way, right?
I'd be very aware of him.
No, he's a smart dude.
Stalker?
He didn't stalk
Stalkers
her.
don't need to be stupid.
You can track somebody down without being a stalker.
I don't know. It sounds pretty fishy. Tracking someone down?
Well, she could have said, I don't want to go out with you. He doesn't know where she lives. He just got her email address. That's all.
Hey, little girl, I got some candy.
Well, that sounds like you've practiced it a few times.
And I got a lot of candy.
And a white van with no windows.
Painted black. The windows are painted black.
It just has a roof vent.
Well, that's for the bad gas when you eat Tonkos. 2 English amateur metal detectors, Andy Sampson and Paul Adams, I wonder if that's their real names, were out looking for treasure when they actually came across some 50 gold coins and some ancient pottery. And as soon as they found it, they celebrated by jumping up and down and shouting, and like 2 little girls, I guess. They estimated their find at approximately 250,000 British pounds.
Wow.
And when Sampson got the courage to show his neighbor what he found, the neighbor says, that doesn't look quite right. There's something wrong with that. And he was right. When they did some research, they found out that both the coins and the pottery were props for a BBC TV show. It's called The Detectorist. I don't know what it's about. I never heard of it. But since then, they've gotten over their severe disappointment and have continued to metal detect. But they were a bit disappointed. They thought they had hit the big one.
Well, how do they know it was worth 250 pounds or whatever, 1,000 pounds?
Well, they were estimating based on the type of gold it was.
I thought it said that on the sign in the museum.
Right.
That's where I thought he was going with it.
No. Yeah, well, there was some guy he had a real cheap metal detector. It wasn't an expensive one, but it worked fairly well. And it's the same one I've got. And I cannot think of the name of it.
Fairly well.
Fairly well, my fairy fay?
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay. It's your job, man.
It is.
It's what you do. But anyway, they found this nugget the size of a potato. It was like 1.5 pounds, and I think it was worth like 250,000.
A nugget of gold?
Yeah. Solid nugget of gold. Size of a potato.
That's a big one.
That's a big one.
That's a big nug.
All right, there's this hairstylist named Khaled Shabani.
From Israeli? Rocky?
He might be, I don't know. He's working in his Madison, Wisconsin shop.
It's a man.
Yeah, when a young 22-year-old customer comes in for a style. As he was trimming the young man's hair, the guy kept fidgeting, causing the haircut to be a little difficult for the barber. So Shabani chastised the young man and got very angry. So they grabbed the shortest clipper attachment that he had. He puts it on the clippers and runs it right down the middle of the customer's head. He also happened to nick the customer's ear with a pair of scissors, which the customer reported as done on purpose. So he called the police, and the police showed up and said, well, although giving a bad haircut is not an arrestable offense, purposely cutting somebody's ear with scissors is.
Yeah, it is.
It's assault. So they got him for like mayhem and disorderly conduct, I guess, which is a lot lesser charge.
I would have showed him salt right in the wound of the ear.
Oh, man, I'll tell you. But can you imagine? Right down the center of your head. That's beautiful.
Well, what? Instead of doing that, why didn't you just tell the person, just get out of the chair and leave?
Yeah, you'd think.
Instead of...
And why would you admit to cutting the ear on purpose?
Well, he didn't. He said he didn't do it on purpose.
Is that what they call a reverse mohawk?
That, my friend, is a reverse mohawk. People pay big dollars for this uptown. That's what he should have told the
What do they
police.
call that, a Cherokee?
Yeah.
It's not a mohawk, it's a Cherokee.
Cherokee. It reminds me of a story where a guy walked into a barber shop and he says, can you gouge the back of my head with those clippers and cut my hair too short on the right and too long on the left and make the top of my head bleed with your scissors? Barber says, I'm not going to do that. And the man says, why not? That's what you did last time I was here.
I'm sure you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? That's funny.
Did you hear about the lady from Morgantown, Mississippi? She just turned 100 years of age and went deer hunting and bagged the deer.
Oh, bless her heart.
Yeah.
How old was she?
100.
100.
Holy smokes.
On I think it was just after her 100th birthday, they said.
The deer probably weighed more than her.
Yeah, no kidding. She said, I didn't think it was all going to go right. I was sort of shaken until I got ready to shoot. And she still mows her own lawn, occasionally hunts squirrels in her yard. And when people ask her about bagging her deer, she says, I don't know why everybody's making such a big deal about it. If it was just a doe, I'd love to kill a buck. Thought that was a cute story. Since you guys
Is
are
that a
both 100.
relative?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure sounds like it, doesn't it?
Buck.
We've got some relatives that are that age and like to do stuff like that. We've been related to some pretty outlandish ladies, haven't we? Mm-hmm. Remember, like Aunt Amanda and who's the one that you pushed her hair down?
I mean, oh no,
That was
Ella.
Aunt Ella, yeah. She was
She was a
4'11" and just a pistol.
Her hair, she was 6'3".
Wow.
Yeah.
It was like Marge Simpson.
Yes.
Yes. She had the Marge Simpson hair. But she was the sweetest lady. I mean, she was just a jokester. But she was the nicest thing. She'd come out and give you a hug, and then she'll pull some crap on you, But funny. She reminded me of our Uncle Leo, which was her brother. Mm-hmm. And they were about the same height.
Wow.
Uncle Leo was a little bit taller.
He would go through a lot to pull off a joke, wouldn't
Yeah, he would. And he'd go totally straight-faced. What was that thing he did? Do you remember hearing that story about him being up on the roof? He had a heart condition. He wasn't supposed to be doing anything. He was up on the roof shingling his barn, and the neighbor came over, and young guy, and he was helping him do the shingles, and some other neighbor came by and said, "What are you doing up there, Leo? You're not supposed to be doing shingles." And he took the hammer from the kid when he saw the woman coming by and started hammering stuff in. And he goes, "I don't know why he makes me work like this." And she started chewing that guy out for making him work. And, "What are you doing? You know he's got a heart condition." And he was just laughing
he? I remember he delivered weeds on Mother's Day to our grandmother.
and told him that came from my dad, right?
Yep. And then when he went to
Or
turn
our
around to
dad.
leave, he backed into the creek.
Oh, yeah, serves him right, huh?
Graham had to call two of her sons,
To get him out of the creek.
at least two of them, to pull him out of his car out of the creek. And then he admitted that they were just weeds that he brought.
Weeds.
Yeah, and they weren't related, but he knew my grandmother. They were in the same town.
I'll be darned.
My mom and dad had ordered a half a beef, and Uncle Leo had picked it up. And when Mom and Dad drove back to Pennsylvania, drove all the way home with it,
And it wasn't.
he wrapped up firewood.
Oh, you got to be kidding.
No, he goes a long way for a practical joke, but he was funny.
That'd have been amazing if they were ready to use them.
But he was coming in the next weekend for a reunion or whatever.
He was going to bring
So he
it.
was going to bring it with him.
Yeah, but that's the kind of guy he was.
Pretty funny.
He had it in the freezer and everything. They pulled it out of the freezer.
Firewood wrapped up in butcher paper. That's the kind of people we're related to.
He wrapped that much wood up?
Yeah.
Oh, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he went out. He had a hunting camp up in northern Pennsylvania, and he went out and took a stone and put deer rubs on trees like 5 feet high.
Oh, boy.
And
Everybody was
and
all excited.
He had guys following around, showing him all these rubs. And he went all around his cabin, making rubs, and just to fool him.
Nobody in their right mind would do something like that, but he did.
No, that's a character right there.
He was.
Did you hear that story about wild turkeys in Cleveland that were bothering postal workers carrying mail? Yeah, they were in Rocky River, and they were preventing the delivery of mail because the mail carriers were afraid of them. They'd come over and attack them. I mean, I don't know what damage a turkey could do. Could they?
Well,
pinch you
with their
pretty good?
spurs, just like a rooster would put a hurting on you. A turkey could too.
Yeah,
But if you
that's
boot
true.
them in the chest, usually they leave you alone.
They'd give you a pretty good pecker.
About 3 weeks in December, some people in Rocky River didn't get their mail because the turkeys were so bad. But see, what brought them in was they were feeding the wild birds. And the turkeys were coming in for the bird seed and the stuff they were feeding the other
Right.
birds. So they were actually causing the problem. And the Postal Service asked them not to feed the birds anymore in that area if they decided they'd like their mail delivered.
Sissies.
Fly-by peckings.
That's why you what?
I said that some fly-by peckings.
Oh, I thought you said that's why I buy peckings.
You're cut off, sir.
I'm
The
cut.
bar is
I only
closed.
had one.
One bottle.
Yeah, one whole bottle.
Now, you don't know this about Garth, but he used to be a deep sea fisherman.
Really?
Yeah. He was
In the desert?
commercial
In the,
fisherman.
in the middle of the desert.
It was really hard to paddle that boat
It was.
because he didn't have a motor.
It's a drag.
Yeah, it was a drag.
No, he used to commercial fish, and he can tell you some stories.
Commercial and sport fish.
We were talking about getting hooks caught in various places, and
Ouch. I've seen some things.
you got one caught in the side of your face, didn't you?
On the back of my head, when I was a little kid, I don't know who the rotten, no good brother of mine that did it, but
Oh, really?
really.
You only
I sure-
have one brother, don't you?
Oh, that's right. Yes. Every time he'd jerk on that fishing rod, I was squalid. Of course, I don't remember it. I just remember the one when I hooked my mother in the side of the head with a night crawler and it was crawling all over the side of her face.
He thought it was some sort of decoration or new earring, but she wore it proudly because her son gave it to her.
Yeah.
That's the way my mom was.
And then I did one myself
Is.
just a couple of years ago. I was fishing with a jig, lead-headed jig, was hung up, and I pulled and pulled and pulled. And ping!
Oh.
Come back, and it stuck me right in the face, right in the cheek, underneath my eye, in the meaty part of my cheek. So I had my son, I just pushed my fingers on either side of the hook, and I said, when you pull it, don't mess around, just jerk it out.
Who did that?
Kyle.
Oh,
He goes, I'm going to enjoy this.
and he did.
Hey, he pulled it out, come out. But if you wouldn't hold it, your skin stretches. So
Right.
I had to hold it down, so when he popped it out, it just,
Oh,
It
man.
does, it does make that noise, too.
yeah.
Brian knows my friend Mark. He was attacked by a cougar.
Oh, yeah.
He holds a world record.
He was one of the few, yeah, and he lived.
5-minute attack.
Lived to talk about it. But he was saying how your skin, you can hear it tear. He said that cougar had his claws into his back, through his ribs, and punctured his lung. That's how deep his claws went in.
And he also said that when he had him by the neck, he could hear his spine gurgling,
Cracking,
crunching,
yeah.
cracking.
Like walnuts. Yeah, he was lucky to
boy.
survive that. We should get him on the show and talk about it. He actually did an interview with me a while
remember.
back, and I did that, but I was doing Front Porch Chronicles then. I was just starting it, and then
Definitely on the back porch now.
yeah, we're on the back porch now. Okay, now this is your government at work. Now this is in Romania, but a court there has rejected a man's claim that he's not alive. He took him to court. He said, my wife had me officially registered as dead because I hadn't talked to her in several years. And he went to the court and says, hey, I'm very much alive. And they said, well, we're sorry, but the decision once made can't be reversed. You're dead.
Oh, okay.
That's the final ruling. 63-year-old guy, very much alive, in Vasuli because he appealed too late.
So if he killed his wife, could they arrest him if he's dead?
Oh, that's a point, huh? No, I'm dead. You can't arrest me. Local news reports on the case said that Mr. Relu had lost contact with his wife and his family when he traveled to Turkey back in 1992
Lost
to get
his
work.
living status?
Yes, he did. And hearing no news from her husband for years, she just got him officially declared dead in 2016. Now, he left for work in 92, and he came back in 2000. No, she filed for a death certificate in 2016. I'd say that was a long time to be away. But then again,
Some guys need some space.
yes.
I guess so.
The authorities in Turkey found Mr. Relu this year with expired papers and then deported him. But when he arrived in Romania, he discovered he'd been declared dead. Further details were not immediately available. I'm officially dead, though I am alive, he says.
That could be fun.
I have no income because I am listed dead. I can't do anything. So nobody can even hire. Well, I guess they could. They could make up a name.
Right.
But if they have social security numbers there, I don't know what he would do. He'd have to come up with somebody's number.
I'll be darned.
So since I've got two hunters here, avid sportsmen, I want to hear some stories. You have any funny hunting stories?
I do have one that was relayed to me by a fellow driver. And he said there's 3 of the guys went hunting, took 2 cars. They don't have all the facts together, but long story short, when they get there, one guy has to go to the restroom. And there is no restroom in
Number
the woods.
1 or number 2?
Number 2.
Oh, that's the worst, most
So
aromatic
he
kind.
takes care of business. And when he flipped his hoodie back up onto his head, it was full of number 2.
Wow.
So
You've got to be kidding me.
he turned
What
around and
the-
went right back home.
How in the hell did he do that?
I don't know.
That is a good
But
one.
when he flipped it up, it sprayed all over him. And it smelled really bad.
Now, I don't want to embarrass another relative of ours, Mom, but she did something similar. She was in a tree stand, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was that story?
She had a one-piece suit on in a tree stand. Well, she had a it was like a little basin. I don't know what you would call it, but it was a little squatty.
Squatty potty?
Yeah, and it was plastic. So she pulls her one-piece suit down, and
This is up in a tree.
this is not in a tree. This is a tripod metal stand.
Okay, so it's
she's,
standalone.
She's elevated, yes, but
Okay.
not in a tree. So she does number 1 in the this plastic thing. Well, the plastic thing had been up there for like 3 years in plastic dry rods, and it sometimes cracks and has holes in it.
Oh, yeah?
Well, when she went to put her suit back on, she pulls her suit on, and all the number 1 ran right down the sleeve, out of her sleeve. So everything
Oh, that's nasty.
ran out of the basin into her sleeve. So she got down that day too.
Yikes. That's not far from the cabin, is it?
No,
So she just walked and got something else to wear, huh?
yeah, she was done for the morning.
That's funny. Yeah, I've heard some good ones. The one with the hoodie, though, that is classic.
Yeah, I don't know how that guy didn't realize he had a hood full of.
Poo-poo. Mm-hmm. You know, Garth has a funny story, which we've told before on the show, but where he was out in the woods, they were cutting wood, and they camped out there, just trying to make a day of it, you know. And while they're out camping, I should let him tell it.
Oh,
but the squirrel or the
Chipmunk.
chipmunk, yeah. So the chipmunk's sitting there, and his buddy T is with him, and T says, "I could probably pop him." He goes, "Don't kill him," or something like that. And
yeah. I said, don't kill him. I said, what do you want to kill him for? Well, I don't know, just something to kill. Well, you know, it has just as much right to live as you do. You know, it's not doing anything wrong. So a little while later, you know, chipmunk's running on this boulder, just having a ball. I go, T, shoo him off the rock. Shoo him, you know, like scare him off, scare him off the rock. Yeah. It was one of the best shots I've ever seen. I am not kidding. He had a 22 and he was a good 100 yards away.
wow.
This little chipmunk standing up, going like this, and then rolls down the boulder. I go, "What'd you do that for?"
You said shoot him off the rock.
Exactly. I said,
I
"No,
said
shoo
shoot
him."
Yeah, I know.
Excellent.
Yeah, that was. He ate him. I made him eat it though.
Yep. They barbecued him.
Wasn't much, but it was about that much on each side.
Yeah, your pinky's width. Did you ever eat a chipmunk?
Our cousin had
Who?
Little John.
Oh, did he?
Squirrels are good eating.
Yeah, they went up with a cooler full of beer, and they were going to live off the land for a week. And they ate blue jays and
boy.
chipmunks and
Oh, that's right.
blackbirds.
I remember they were just kids then. Yeah,
17, 18, something like that.
live off the land. Blue jays and chipmunks.
He said, "You'd be surprised how hungry you get eating blue jays. There ain't a lot of meat on them."
I can never say I ate a blue jay. That's funny.
Probably be like a dove.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of breast meat and the rest sinew and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine it'd be tasty if you're hungry.
Hell yeah. Cook them good enough, you eat bones and all. It's like you do with a bluegill or a crappie or something. You know?
Grind them
Yeah.
up like the Amish do.
Amish. Okay, Jen,
Yes.
I want you to take a back seat here. Don't say anything because he's going to talk about British women.
Oh, no. Is she British?
Well, yeah.
I got a buddy named Digger. He's British. He used to dig graves.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is indeed. He told me one night, I says,
Digger.
so I started talking like this, you know, and he goes, "Do you know how stupid you sound?" I said, "I do know how stupid I sound, but I don't want you to feel alone."
I made the mistake of taking a drink of pop just before
Yeah,
you
you
said
did.
that is brilliant.
It was funny.
And that's one of their favorite expressions. That is just brilliant. Brilliant,
Well,
man.
actually, I said the word bloody, and he goes, "It's not bloody, it's bloody." And I said, "It doesn't matter." He goes, "You sound so stupid." I said, "I know."
I just didn't want you to feel alone.
It was pretty good. He laughed.
That's classic.
Then about the three women, the three hefty women standing at the bar, and there's a guy sitting at the table, and he's listening to them. He says, "Excuse me, ladies, is that an English accent that I detect?" This one hefty woman looks back at him, glares at him. She goes, "It's Wales, you idiot." He goes, "Ma'am, I am so sorry. Are you three whales from England?"
Welcome to the man cave.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, well, I know you wouldn't approve.
Jennifer doesn't like stuff like that.
Danger.
I'm in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone.
Did I tell you about the one about the guy standing at the bar and the hefty woman walks up behind him, smacks him on the arse, and she goes, "Hey, cowboy, how about a phone number?" He looks around at her and gives her a glare. He goes, "You got a pen?" She goes, "I sure do." He goes, "Well, you better get back in it before the farmer finds out you're missing."
Yep.
Oink, oink, oink. Oh, my gosh, that's too funny.
Oh, that was a good one, too.
He's got a million. He usually just, you can't stop him. My
Put a
voice is
microphone
breaking.
in front of me.
Yeah, that's when everybody shuts up when you
Didn't
stick a
know what
mic
to
in front.
say.
Yeah, we were talking about last week. Garth came up with 15% of the air you breathe in a bus station is human skin. That is nasty.
Well, they say if you leave your toothbrush exposed in a bathroom just from flushing the toilet, it has, I don't know how many parts per million, but feces on your toothbrush.
Yeah, you know, they did a study on that, on Mythbusters,
Yeah,
and it wasn't as much as...
they thought.
Yeah.
I would think it would. I mean, more people would be sick than there are if that's the
I
case.
don't think so. I think you eat more crap than what most people think you do.
And your body
really
just
true.
handles it, I guess, huh?
If you knew all the dirt and stench you ate, you'd probably throw up.
Well, I just don't like people reaching in my M&M bag. You know, I'll share, but let me pour it in your hand. I don't want you reaching. I don't know if you just picked a boogie or what you did.
That smells familiar.
Now, that's a nasty story we are not going to tell because that will get too many people embarrassed.
Our father would be embarrassed.
Well, it wasn't his.
He was
doing.
right, but
It was what he detected.
leave that one alone.
That's a family story we don't talk about. That's the danger with having your brother on the show. You can, you know, there's family things that come up and you got to be careful. You might offend somebody. Not me. I'm not easily offended, but
Nathan was the one scratching his rear end.
and he's not here to defend himself.
That's true.
But
I don't think he could.
did we learn about hand washing? What was that? Is that your phone?
Phone went off.
Blink.
I didn't even hear it.
I mean, is that a message from the wife?
Oh, my friend Steve Tanner
Yeah.
sent me a message.
Well, Steve got in the show somehow. And of course, that means it's time now for Uncle Garth's Almanac of Interesting Facts and Figures. Well,
Yeah, this is a real interesting one.
yeah? What you got for us, Uncle Garth?
Well, I bet you didn't know this.
Probably not.
You know what pineapples are?
Yeah, I've eaten a few.
Okay.
Not whole ones.
Not road apples, pineapples.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, not road apples, Chris.
Okay.
Okay, anyways, pineapples are not a single fruit.
They're not.
If you didn't know that or not.
They're married?
Yes. They're married. No, but they're a group of berries that have been fused together.
Oh,
That's why I guess they have all those little...
sections.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Pretty strange.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Did you know that?
No, I did not.
But if you cut one open and it's all one piece,
Yeah. It just fused together.
isn't that something?
I refuse to eat anymore now.
And you know, another thing for us old farts,
What's that?
you know, it says taking a nap longer than 20 minutes during the day can help boost memory and enhance creativity.
Ooh.
So we should all do that.
I
That's
just
what I used
yanked
to
the
tell
plug
my
on you.
ex-wives all the time. Leave me alone.
Ex-wives. I've got one wife, no ex yet. Let's keep it that way. Oh, what was I going to say? A story about
But then I
kids.
heard on a program that taking naps can lead to where you lose your mind,
Oh, Alzheimer's?
something like that.
Really?
Yeah. So what the hell are you supposed to believe
You
anymore?
can't
you know?
win. All these facts and figures.
Yeah,
I
just
think-
like, you know, coffee's great for you. Drink coffee.
Coffee
No,
causes cancer.
Don't. Yeah, coffee can.
it's like,
And
really?
then they come back. Oh no, coffee is bad for you. Don't drink. You shouldn't drink more than 5 cups a day. Blah blah blah. And now they come back. Oh, if you drink more than 5 cups a day, it's good for you. It helps you. Get your story straight, morons.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like eggs.
Right. Exactly.
eggs are good for you. No, they're bad for you.
Right.
They cause
Good,
cholesterol
bad, good,
build up.
bad, good, bad.
But they're good for you.
Remember years ago about avocados?
Oh yeah.
Avocados, they're too greasy. They're not good for you. Blah, blah. Now they're the best thing on the earth for you.
Yeah, they're supposed to be good for good fat, I guess.
These guys are a bunch of
A buddy of
horses'
mine told his
butts.
wife.
Everything in moderation, right?
A buddy of mine told his wife he wanted to be cremated.
Yeah.
She made him an appointment for next Tuesday.
I hate when that happens. You know, when the wife gets involved, sometimes you got to be careful, depending on what mood she's in, right?
Right. Exactly.
I was gonna, kid stories. You probably have a bunch of kid stories because you got a bunch of kids. What do you have? Five?
was not a smart. I'm
What do you
not
got?
a smart man.
You can't do math. How many kids do you have?
I have 4
4. I just said for the studio audience
of my own.
of your own. Yeah, 4 kids, and out of that, there's got to be some dumb, fun stories. Can you think of one?
You don't even know.
That's why I'm asking you.
So you put me on the spot.
Well, I'll tell you one, and then maybe this will trigger something.
Okay.
We were at the store where my wife works, and it's a grocery store, sort of, kind of. Well, a goods store. They sell lots of different things. Let's just call it a warehouse store.
Yeah.
And this lady there was demoing something, and my wife happens to know her, so she walks up and talks to her, and she says, talks to my son, and my son says hi to her, waves to her. He's kind of shy at the time. He was he's probably 2 years, well, maybe 3 years old. And we had just talked about, when he's in the bathtub, what parts are parts, and he points to these, and there, I said, those are your nipples. And he goes, oh, nipples, and then he forgot about it and didn't say anything. And so this lady sees him, and she says, oh, you have such cute little dimples. And he whips his shirt up. And we both just started laughing. And the lady, of course, doesn't understand what's going on. She just thinks he just whipped his shirt up. But he thought she said nipples.
Nipples.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
What cute dimples you have. Whoop.
Well, do you remember the time my number 2 son, Kyle, him and I didn't see eye to eye for many, many days, months, weeks, months, years. So the one day, he's the daredevil. Dad, come out. Watch me snowboard. I got a ramp made. All right, give me a minute. I was working on something. So he finally convinces me to come out. I go out. He ramps this thing on a snowboard. Woo! It lands, and he broke his arm. I got it on video.
Jeez.
So when we took him to the emergency care, I told the doctor, I said, you can't get me arrested on this one either. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, I got it on video. How he did it. I didn't do it. But it was kind of funny. He screamed bloody murder.
Oh, no kidding. That's got to be painful.
Did he blame you?
No.
No.
Oh, no. This kid's built of iron.
He's broken his back. He's done
Gads.
jumping curbs. He fell off a bike and hit a curb. It didn't snap it, but it
Probably cracked it.
cracked it, yes. But he had a hematoma about come off his back, probably 3 inches,
Wow.
6 inches wide from the back injury.
Sometimes he didn't even cry. He would just
No, he was a
suck
tough-
it up and get up and walk away.
Wow.
He's the
guys
kind
are
of
like
guy
that.
you want to be. You want to have when you're fighting.
On your side.
On your side,
exactly.
yeah.
He feels no pain.
No pain.
Yeah, my wife's kind of like that.
Unlike walking into a hitch.
Yeah.
You ever walk into a hitch on the back of a
Oh,
truck?
yes.
Gosh, many times. My wife has walked into it, and I said, "It's there. You know it's there. Don't walk into it."
I speak different languages when that happens.
Don't
I
we
bet there are
all?
many colors. Many colors of the rainbow.
Yes, indeedy.
I think I only heard Dad say something one time. He was lifting his boat up, and he dropped the boat tongue on his fingers. And I heard
people-
words I never heard before.
There's people that lost fingers over that.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Well, that boat wasn't terribly heavy, but still, it's not heavy. It's the right pinch or the right angle. It catches your knuckle, and that's over.
We were in our friend's garage once, my buddies and I. We were, teenagers, young teenagers, probably 14, 15, something like that. We had a pulley hooked up on the rafter with a rope, just one pulley, right? And we had a loop at the bottom of the rope, and it went up through the pulley and then in our hands, the other end in our hands. So we put our feet in the loop, standing on the concrete, and pull ourselves up, see how high we can get, right?
Yeah.
So we all did it once and everything. We got, a couple feet off the ground, because it's pretty hard to pull yourself up with one pulley. Now, if you had a couple of them, to
Even it out a little
even
bit.
it out, yeah.
Yeah.
So I got this bright idea. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just yank real hard and go flying up there. Uh-huh. I yanked that son of a gun, and it pulled my feet out from underneath me. And my head hit that concrete. They thought I split my skull open.
No kidding. I would have thought so, too.
Oh, man. I just laid there, and,
That would hurt.
it did. I probably had a concussion. But,
It's funny. Other people around you can hear the sound of your skull hit something.
uh-huh.
See, you could have made it on one of them shows if you'd have filmed that.
How dumb do you think I am? Yeah.
You have kids, Garth?
I have one son.
How old is he?
He'll be 40 this year.
You don't look that old.
I'm 60.
The last guy that said that, he kissed, so be careful.
Yeah, so be careful.
Jennifer, do you think Garth looks that old?
No.
Well, see,
Oh, thank you, Jennifer.
even Jen thinks you're all right. We think you're pretty okay, too, Jennifer.
Thank you, boys.
You're welcome.
You're quite welcome.
So you were saying something about Easter being close to April Fool's Day earlier?
I don't know. I think it is.
Is it really?
I don't know.
You
Did
know
Easter
little
basket-
chocolate eggs?
Yeah, I love those things.
You could unwrap them and wrap grapes up instead.
Kids love that.
Get the colored foil and
Oh, that's funny.
How you can make your kids hate you.
Well, I told you my story about Nick. He wanted a PS4 so bad, and I said, absolutely not. I said, this is going to be an austere Christmas this year. We're not spending a lot of money. I said, we've got a lot of money going out for different things, and some of it your future education. So, we're going to watch what we spend this year. So you're going to get maybe one thing that you really, really like, and then the rest you're going to, stuff that you need, Kids don't like to hear that. But I said, here's the deal. We'll think of a couple things, and we know you like some games and stuff, so maybe we'll go that direction. I don't know yet. And he goes, I really want a PS4. I said, you got a PS3. Yeah, but it's not the latest and greatest, of course. So for Christmas, my mother-in-law said, he's a good boy.
was he getting PS'd off?
No, he wasn't, but he was thinking about it. And I said, watch it, mister. I know what you're thinking. I was a kid once myself. Anyway, he we wrap up the gift, and we take it on our way to our northern command here, and we're going to have Christmas up here because it was snowing, and it's going to be nice atmosphere. On our way up, we stop at our friend's house in Prescott, and I tell them what's going on. I said, here's the deal. We've wrapped up his PS4, and we're not going to give it to him. We're going to tell him, have him haul it up here and give it to you guys for a housewarming present. He doesn't know what's in the package. And they said, oh, yeah, we'll play along. So they had a blast, and we gave it to them. And when he saw that gift open up, his face flushed bright red. His ears were crimson. And he looked at me and he goes, I'm going to kill you.
That's pure mean on your part.
I know it was. But he said it in a joking way. He's a good kid. But he took it rather well. But you could tell he was really
Hurt.
like, oh my gosh, it's right there. I could touch it. I had it in my hands. And we're giving it to somebody else. And he was very gracious, and he said, you know what? He said, you guys are going to have a great time with this. And he said, it's something that I've wanted for a long time. But you're going to, he said, this game and that game's really good, and, you know, you'll really enjoy it. And they go, oh, yeah. And their daughter was there. Hey, Sally, you know, you remember that thing you were talking about? This is it. You know, you like the games on this system. She goes, yeah, that'll be cool. And so as we're getting ready to leave, the other friend of mine, Garth, he comes over and he goes, here, this is yours. We don't want it. And he goes, and he grabs it and he runs downstairs and he throws it in the back of the truck and comes back. He goes, I'm not letting this out of my sight until I'm getting it down to the truck. But he was all incensed that somebody else might have gotten that.
Right.
But I was proud of him that he didn't lose
I was
it.
going to say, that could set you up for where you wouldn't even want him to have it. You know?
Yes, it could. Well, I told my wife, I said, you know, if he acts up over this is a true test of his maturity. If he does something really bizarre, you know, I'll give him a little leeway on it. But if he goes over the top, then he's in trouble. But I'm sure he'll handle it well. And he did. He did pretty good.
I'll be darned.
I was impressed.
That is kind of mean.
Yes,
It was.
but funny.
Funny.
But funny, yeah.
Well, this family goes out on a limb for humor. But he'd do the same thing to us. I mean, he does weird stuff. He's always taking pictures of me when I'm sleeping. If I fall asleep in the easy chair, if my mouth's hanging open, he gets a close up, and you know, you can see all my dental work and my tongue and my uvula.
Look at this cavern.
Yeah,
There's gold in this cavern.
yeah. No, it's more like amalgam. It's not so much gold.
Amalgamate.
Amalgam. What was that drink they used to? Milk of magnesia.
Oh, boy.
I always think when I hear amalgam.
Did I ever tell you the joke I made up?
No. Well, which one?
You remember Bill Clinton's vice president?
Al Gore?
If he was sitting there and he was listening to you play music on your guitars and he was tapping his feet, what would you call that? An Al Gore rhythm.
This is why you don't go out on the road, except for in a truck. Oh my gosh, Al Gore rhythm.
An algorithm
You have any good jokes?
ain't easy. You're starting to hurt my feelings.
Your one remaining feeling.
I love it when people think they're going to punish me by not talking to me.
You do? Yeah, it's a nice vacation sometimes.
You know why Captain Hook crossed the road?
Why?
To get to the secondhand store.
Oh, gee.
Okay, this one's not terribly off color, but you know how Captain Hook died? He wiped with the wrong hand.
Oh.
That'll leave a mark.
On whatever you're wiping. Yeah, leave a mark in your countertop, if you will.
That's why you needed granite countertops.
That's right. That's what my wife says. Granite countertops. Now, Jennifer, I know our show's almost over, but I want some coffee.
Your coffee is ready.
She is quick, man.
Could you get me some?
Sure. Jen, can you do something for him?
Yes.
Okay. How about some coffee?
Your coffee is ready.
Why, thank you very much.
Don't burn yourself. It's hot.
You do sound good.
What was that?
I was just tasting the
He
coffee.
was slurping.
Oh, my gosh.
Pretty
My
good.
mom should have sent you to elocution school. Go look that one up in your Funkin' Wagnalls.
Elocution.
Yeah, that too.
That's a $5 word in my book.
It is. That is correct.
It's only $2.75.
Yeah, we had another storage container delivered today, and it was this guy is an expert trucker. It's like I was lucky to have him up here today because he backed it in, and he helped the guy back it in and get things
That guy was
set up.
good.
Yeah, he was good too. But you guys helped each other, and I appreciate that.
We got her done.
So that paid for your meals. And
Nick said you had to take some air out of the tires. You got stuck or something?
it's not air, wasn't it?
No, I did that when I was in Korea,
Oh,
stuck on the side of the mountain. You remember me telling you about that?
I don't remember that.
I had a 2.5 ton truck and a 5K generator set trailer. And I was sitting trying to back the trailer in. So I had guys pushing on the truck from the front. They had to reach up to my bumper.
Wow.
That's how steep the hillside was, and I was rocking it, and it couldn't go. So
That was a clutch, right?
yeah. I climbed underneath, shoveled out, I don't know, 10 yards of dirt out from underneath it. Lowered. I start letting the air out, and the lieutenant's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" My platoon sergeant said, "Sir, he knows what he's doing. Just let him alone." And I dropped the air pressure to give me more traction.
Right.
And I backed it right out of there. But he
Did
said,
you have a
"Well,
pump?
let's do it tomorrow. Let's do it." Because he was afraid it was going to go. If it would have went over the mountain, it'd have been a 2-mile.
Straight down.
Yep.
Yeah, that's scary.
But he come up. I told him to shut up. He was standing outside my door. I said, "Everybody, shh." Well, I said it a little more mean, but shut up. I want to hear one guy. And he was standing right behind the cab. And I said, "That's who I'm listening to. Everybody else keep their mouths shut." And when I got done getting it out of there, the lieutenant come up. He shook my hand. He goes, "You did a great job."
Yeah. Yep.
No, I was stupid. That's what I was.
I've seen him. I was on a delivery with him one time over Christmas, and I saw him back between two buildings in an alley that had like 1.5 inches on either side, and he pulled that big rig back in there, backed it in. I said, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
It was. I don't care what you say.
Threading the needle.
Honest to God, he's really good.
That's what they make mirrors for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And I appreciate it.
Yep. And when you're slow and steady, that's when I have trouble with my little trailer.
That's my mom. That's our mother coming out.
And I go, I got to
Take
just
your time. Do it right.
take it
first
easy
time.
and slow, and you can do anything. It's a game of inches and patience. That's what I always say when you're back in a trailer.
That's what she says, too.
Yeah. My mother?
No, it's
Well, she does say that. And I don't think you meant it the same way somehow.
Ay. It's
Honest
getting deep in here.
Goodness. Wow. You're making the mics vibrate when you do that. Okay, we're going to have to close this puppy. We're going to have to sew up this patient. We're done here. Well, I guess we're not going to get any better. That wraps this puppy up. Sew this patient back together.
wraps this puppy up.
Yeah. Well, we thank you for joining us again on our nonsensical show.
That was a nonsensical show, wasn't it?
It was.
It was indeed.
Patchwork quilt, sewn together with stories and laughter.
And stupid.
Stupid.
And stupidness.
Yeah. We'll have another show next week if we're lucky. And Lord willing, the creek don't rise. If you'd like to write us, we'd love to hear from you. It's bunkerboysunderground@gmail.com. bunkerboysunderground@gmail.com. Or if you want to check out our other podcasts, or even give us a good thumbs up tweak on iTunes, that would be nice. If you like what you heard, rate it, give us some stars so we don't see stars from our wives.
Give us some stars.
Yeah. Well, a 5-star rating, that would be nice.
That would be nice.
But we appreciate you listening, and hopefully you'll be back for more, because we're going to be for a while.
Yeah.
We are the Bunker Boys.
Yes, we are.
I've got my brother Brian. Say goodbye to the folks.
Bye-bye.
You're good at that.
Bye-bye.
I'm Chris,
I'm Garth.
and we are
The
Bunker
Bunker
Boys.
Boys.